recently started collecting vintage books, and I found this really cool book called Holidays Around the World. Um, you could read it straight through, but I'm choosing to read one entry a day. And, we all need something to celebrate in life, right? So if I figure if I read one entry a day, it gives me something cool and exciting to celebrate. For example, on Sunday, the entry said it was Moon Day. So we watched the movie Fly Me to the Moon with Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. Johansson? Anyhow, and then we had moon pies. And then I watched a video about 33 interesting facts about the moon. It was really cool. Then yesterday, it was apparently Swan Upping Day. And I'd never heard of this, but apparently in the UK, the royal family owns all of the mute swans that swim in the River Thames. So it's like a whole thing. Every July, they have a special crew of people dressed in the official red uniforms, and they swim the River Thames and sit there and like ceremoniously collect all the swans and up them onto the riverbanks and weigh them and measure them. And you might wonder why they do this. Well, apparently it dates back to the 12th century when only the nobility and royals could afford to eat swans, which were apparently quite the delicacy. But swans are protected animals now, and they don't obviously eat them. But I guess it's more about conservation these days. So they do this every July. It's a 5-day census, and they collect, weigh, and measure all the swans. Anyway, I said all that to say it's been really fun reading about different holidays around the world, and it's been really cool. I've been trying to once I read about them, I try to learn something about that culture or that holiday. For example, I actually spent quite a bit of time reading about swans, and I learned that they mate for life. They do these elaborate dances to strengthen the bond that they have with their partner, that they can be quite huge, that the trumpeter swan has a 10-foot wingspan, that there is even a swan constellation. Never knew that. That they could live up to 20 years. There's so much that I never knew about swans. So it's been really, really cool. But today's entry was disturbing. Very disturbing. So apparently it's the anniversary of the Pied Piper of Hamelin in Germany. And whether this is a true story or not, I'm not sure. It could be one of those, like, maybe folklore, just a story that, can't be verified to be true. But what they said it happened was that there was this rat catcher who came to this town and lured all the rats out of the town by playing his flute. And then, once it came time to pay him, the town didn't pay him what he was owed. So, in retaliation, he came back and played his flute and lured 130 children, all the children from the town. He lured them all out of the town, and they were never seen again. That is a grim story, if it's true. It is not something to be celebrated. But evidently, this town does reenact this event every single year in July or June. There seems to be a little bit of inconsistency there on the date. But regardless, the town reenacts it every single year to commemorate the children's lives, I believe. But it's definitely grim and horrible. And by the way, I've heard about the Pied Piper. We've heard about the Pied Piper. I didn't know that it was a real person and that these are real events, and 130 children went missing, and what happened there? What happened? Yeah. So anyways, This book, which I think is really amazing and I've really been having fun with, took a turn, a dark one. But yeah, if you can get your hands on a copy of this, The Book of Holidays Around the World, I think the copyright is 1986. It really has been a fun experience, and we all need something to celebrate each day. And it's definitely inspired further learning and research. But yeah, The Pied Piper, didn't love that one.